Whoa! Ad hoc coming in. Game number 3. With that delayed Hydra push. Able to catch its opponent off guard. Sorry, their opponent off guard. And that's going to be a 2-1 there for Ad hoc. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. It's the titular match. The one you've been waiting for. This fall, you will lose your mind. As a TVP of epic proportions begins. In one corner, Qikz. And in the other corner, 4Probes and a dream. So let's start off this match. I'm really excited to cast this. Why? Because I've actually faced 4Probes on ladder. And 4Probes played some really weird stuff. Really weird stuff. So I want to see how this game goes. We're going to start off here on Polaris Rhapsody 1.0. As always, the best of 3. CPL week number 2. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner. It is our white Protoss player, 4Probes, and a dream. And in the bottom right-hand corner, our teal Terran player. It is Qikz, who is also known as Pornstar Valk. Really, Qikz? Really? I believe you're actually not stuck with it. You can just delete the account name. It's actually pretty easy to do. It's like, yeah. You're not stuck with it? What are you talking about? So we do have the 8-probe going across the map, and this is going to be probably just to snipe the assimilator. I believe it gets there in time. Supply depot coming down here at the top. A very interesting position for the supply depot. I believe Qikz is going for a wall here, which is interesting. I don't know if you really need to wall on this map, but given what I've seen of 4Probes, a little bit of like a, I'm gonna say it, you know, kind of aggressively cheesy player sometimes. The first game that I played against 4Probes, it was very proxy gate heavy. I don't think it was a proxy gate, but it was like a forward gate. So there's the wall finishing up here. Actually, I believe that... Okay, yeah, no, that's a tight wall. And Qikz getting the refinery behind this, so it didn't actually get denied there by 4Probes and a dream. 4Probes not going for anything too crazy. We do have the Cyber Core coming down at the perfect time, so we'll see that 3-minute Dragoon, the 3-minute sight range upgrade. Or not sight range, God. Attack range upgrade. I'm curious what Qikz is going to do. We have 2 in gas. So we don't have anything starting. Okay, so there's going to be the factory. And the remainder of the supply depot. Okay, cool. After that, we do have the pylon simulator. Everything else is looking pretty normal over here. As soon as that Cyber Core finishes up, I expect we'll see a Dragoon. And then as soon as the Dragoon finishes up, we'll see the sight range upgrade. So yeah, nothing really too crazy coming out here. Polaris Rhapsody is a really weird map, PvP, I find. There's a lot of open ground in the middle, but to get there, you either have to take this really awful bridge, or you have to walk all the way around. So it kind of reminds me a lot of Match Point in that way. Luckily, there's not that many like high ground, low ground kind of things that get you in there, but this bridge is absolutely devilish for trying to cross, unless you have the map control. So Typically, we'll see like a lot of Terrans just kind of mine up the middle of the map so they can get their forces out there a little bit quicker. And we do have the command center coming down here with a Volt. No? Yes? Hello? Won't you come out? No. There's a Marine over here in the corner. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here. But there's going to be the scout from Qikz. Finally, I actually am just realizing right now, I don't think Qikz has scouted this whole entire game. Oh no, it did. Okay, right. So there's this delayed scout to get to see if there's a Nexus timing. Which, by the way, if you're a Terran, this is a very good timing to know. But about 410 is when a Protoss with 1 gate will be expanding. So if you can get your SUV across the map and you see that there's no Nexus by about 410, 420, you definitely know that the Protoss is up to something odd. Qikz, don't think about the things that I do. I forget pretty much everything that happens as soon as it happens. So this tank is coming out and it should be able to ward away this Dragoon. The command center has finished up here as well. Not going for the bunker expand, which kind of become like the cute thing that all the kids are doing nowadays. Instead, we're just kind of go for the typical siege expand, it seems like. Siege isn't done. We're started. Whoa! 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 Ah! So typically you want to get siege started at about 26, 28. So this is a little rough. But because this wall is actually to keep Qikz alive, typically if this happened and you didn't have a wall, you'd be dead. Not dead, but in a really awkward, terrible situation. So we do have a Citadel of a Dune that's come out here from 4Probes in the top left-hand corner. And this is a little bit dicey. Because I don't see a Templar Archives coming down. And in fact, 4Probes, I think... Okay, there we go. So there's a couple builds you can do where you just mass speed Zealots. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. And 4Probes did get this Nexus, and it did finish a little bit ago, but I think 4Probes is a little bit preoccupied. Trying to get through the wall here. And meanwhile, Qikz did get the Academy. It's pretty much like when you feel like you're safe, you don't really have to worry about an immediate Reaver or anything else. You can get that Academy, which gives you the great sight ideas of what Protoss is up to. This is a little bit precarious. You only have one siege tank that's in the position. The other one's so far back. Oh my god, Qikz, no! There goes the other tank. More Dragoons on the way. We do have the Templar Archives did finish up here, so now are we going to start seeing some Dark Templars, some Capey boys? Instead, we're just seeing the Dragoons just do what Dragoons do. Oh. And I hate this so much. Oh, I hate this so much. Fun fact, you can put like a siege tank down here and a siege tank right here, and you pretty much just can clear your natural. I've had to learn that through lots and lots of mistakes. Robo facility coming down here as well. There's no 4th or 3rd base coming out here from 4Probes in a Dream. 4Probes is playing really just aggressive style. We do have 4 gates coming down before a 3rd base, which is just really just in-your-face Protoss. We do have this other siege tank that has now finally come down. The 2nd factory is coming down here. And it looks like we are going to lose at least a Dragoon here. More Dragoons. We're going to have to unsiege and kind of hop forward, but this is a little dangerous because there's 4 Dragoons. 4 Dragoons will be able to snipe a siege tank. Okay. Oh, they're going to repair? Alright. And actually, this is a little bit overzealous, may I say. But here comes the Capey boys. There is 1 scan. Another scan was just used, but we do have 3 scans available. So we're actually in a pretty good position to deal with these. There's no NG Bay, though. And if there's 1 more DT, oh dear God. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. In fact, actually, we're probably going to move on into... Wait, what? 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 Qikz, no! You need that! No, Okay, so things are rough. You get scanned faster if you rebuild it. Alright. Sure. I mean, that did rebuild really fast. Fair enough. Still looks really weird. You also killed an SCV doing it. That SCV had a family. So third base coming down here, mineral only, so we're not playing too greedy here, because if you do go for that top right-hand corner, it does leave you very open to being pretty much destroyed, because you just kind of split you out quite a bit across the map. Missile turrets coming down here finally now. We did have that Robo Bay facility, didn't pick up a Robo Bay. We didn't see any shuttles for the KP boys to get across. And so we're just seeing a lot of Zealots. Which does give me the thought that we're going to probably be seeing a very aggressive bust in the next coming moments. But given that Qikz is pretty much locked this, all down, I don't know how much damage it's going to do. Now Qikz is kind of kicking into 5 factories. This command center, oh god, that is so precarious. Also, if you put a supply depot like right there, it stops that from happening. I don't think that actually affects that much, but I just I always hate seeing that weirdness. Qikz's tanks are doing the tank dance, and the command center did get scouted. This is a really awkward situation because you want to go defend your command center, but whoop, bunch of zealots running in. No vultures, only tanks. Oh no! The tanks getting surrounded. Nothing is sieging up. Everything is just in a really, really rough situation. The zealots are getting in a great position on top of the tanks. I think this might be game. There's so many zealots. That's GG. Qikz loses. Game number 1 to 4 probes and a dream. By the way, if you name yourself 4 probes and a dream, I expected there was going to be some really weird cheese with 4 probes. That didn't happen. Alright, so let's get into game 2 here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to Aztec. Alright, let's get into game number 2. Wait, you picked Aztec? It's set maps. It's supposed to be game 1, game 2, game 3. Yeah, it's all set maps. I think. Was it loser picks? I thought it was set maps. I've just always hosted like the same 3 maps because I was just like, I think this is. Oh, well. I don't know how the CPL works. Alright, so let's get into game number 2. Spawn over here at the bottom left hand corner of Aztec. Also known as the 7 o'clock position. I don't know, it's more like 8 o'clock position. This is our yellow Terran player. It is Qikz. And man, yellow Terran is just gross. So is green Protoss. God, I hate green Protoss. Spawn up here at the 12 o'clock position is 4 probes and a dream, currently up 1-0 over their opponent. Some very dastardly play. And in fact, really the interesting thing there is that really 4 probes and a dream didn't really do anything too dastardly, or all the things that 4 probes was really kind of hoping to make work. Didn't really do that much. I mean, it was the DTs, right? Like the DTs were one of the beginning stages of 4 probes and a dream's thoughts there. It just didn't really work out so well. But the zealot counter behind that was really good. So let's see how Qikz kind of handles game number 2. 4 probes. I expect 4 probes to do something weird. 4 probes is a very odd player. Really kind of plays a lot of off-hand tactics. Even more so than standard Protosses. But even though I was really frustrated playing against 4Probes on ladder, I kind of appreciate the fact that like 4Probes just does so much with so little APM. And you'll notice that 4Probes never goes really above 100 APM. And while there was a little bit of missed macro in game number 1, I mean, both players kind of missed macroing a bit. I think 4Probes has like really high effective APM, kind of like Evil Eye. If anybody knows who Evil Eye is. But where Evil Eye is like the macro fiend, 4Probes is more like the aggressive fiend with effective APM. So nothing really too crazy coming out here. We do have the Cybercore on the way. No immediate zealots coming out here. Qikz is trying to hide behind a tree. Okay. Maybe Qix's SCV is branching out from trying to be a scout. Yeah, branching out. Get it? Get it? Maybe Qix's scout is getting back to his roots. You know, he got back into the Protoss base and he was told to leave. Maybe he was trying to sign a treaty. Son of a birch. Alright, so, SCV does get back in here. Does see a pylon coming down, but doesn't actually see any Nexus. So this actually is a little bit too early to normally see whether or not there's going to be that expansion. But getting in here, kind of seeing that there's no like Robo Bay or anything else, you pretty much can just determine that there's not going to be, if there's going to be an expansion coming out behind this. The thing is that if there isn't like the 3 pylons, etc., and you get in here and you don't see the Nexus, but you do get in here and you kind of see nothing else going on, that's also proxy tech. But we're not seeing that from 4Probes. 4Probes are playing pretty standard so far. Qikz did go for the bunker expand this game. Well, not bunker expand, not the Rex double, but just kind of, it's like the thing that Terrans are doing now. They're putting down a bunker so they can expand actually at their natural instead of being afraid of Protoss. So range is about to finish up here. Always forget the name of the ability. Oh, singularity charge. That's it. Here we go. It's not really important to know that, but I just do. I wanted to know it. And the Dragoons will be able to snipe out the SCV before it really gets to see too much more than just the fact that the Nexus is coming down, but just seeing the Nexus coming down is a really good thing. 4Probes is banking a lot of minerals here. Finally getting a second gateway, a robo facility, and another gateway all at the same time. And Qikz is just, got the command center going now, which is pretty happy. We do have a starport coming down behind this, so we'll probably see an ultra drop. Yeah, siege tanks are really far back. But that will be rectified, and the Dragoons will be pushed out. We do see a 3rd probe down here at the bottom right-hand corner at this little 3 o'clock base. Probably will be seeing a very quick expansion to a non-mineral only too. Because remember, on Aztec you can get the mineral only right here. This is interesting. Qikz now finally going for the Academy after Starport and pretty much everything else. This is really late detection. If there was any type of proxy play. Now, granted, Qikz did get a lot of good scouting, was pretty much able to determine there wasn't going to be any proxy play, but going for such a late Academy can be sometimes dangerous because you don't know what the Protoss is doing behind this. But Qikz is going to be okay here. He has 3 gateways, the Observer, and a robo facility down here. Really nothing too crazy coming out here. Oh, never mind. As soon as I say that. Why did I say that? Why did I say that? Citadel of Doom. Immediately coming down now. But this is actually not too bad. I mean, we got the 3rd base coming up. We have the Citadel of Doom now finally coming down pretty much after 3 gates. This is really not actually too weird. So we do have the drop ships. I believe this is probably going to go here, because this is what every freaking Terran in the entire goddamn world does on this map. Sorry, I cursed. I didn't mean to. I just get really frustrated because of this ledge. This ledge is so annoying. Engineering bay is now finally coming down here as we go back into normal casting. Typically 7:30 is also when the observer will hit your base, 7:37-ish. So this drop timing is pretty much made to abuse that. The fact that the observer probably would just be getting to your base as soon as the dropship is leaving. The tank does come down. The vultures are mining up. And this is going to get some pretty good kills so far. We do have 2 probes that have already gone down. It's going to delay a lot of mining time over here as well. Now, the 3rd base has come up, so most of those probes are probably just going to Maynard over there. Looks like not. At this point, I actually kind of preferred if we would see the pickup of this siege tank to just move over here. The dropship just comes back, and I think it's going to just pick up new, fresh units. And Qikz is starting to get kind of more and more factories out here, and we're starting to get into a little bit more of a macro mode. We are still on 2 bases, so it doesn't look like we're going to be seeing a 3rd base anytime soon. The investment into the starport is going to delay that 3rd base by a little bit. And I'm kind of curious to see which 3rd base Qikz is going to go for. We do have 2 SCVs going down over here. That siege tank has 11 kills. What? I must have missed something there. The probes transfer back super early? Yeah, they must have. Oh dear. That's a lot of damage. So, okay. Qikz starts putting down a whole bunch of... The weird thing is, I'm not seeing any observers. There's one. So, 4Probes playing, like, really odd at this point. Qikz is now starting to float a lot of minerals as well. Qikz, I believe, is supply blocked. Qikz is still supply blocked. You go for the mineral only. So both players' macros a little bit weird here, but 4Probes took a lot of losses. That one siege tank with 11 kills, I can only assume that wasn't 11 dragoons or zealots. That must have been a probe walk back into siege tank fire. So losing 11 probes plus the amount of probes that the vultures kill, really not great here for 4Probes. And I am almost positive that DM White has no idea how to actually just whisper people by themselves, and I think DM White just always uses FM. We now have double armory coming down here, which is a little bit, this is a heavy amount of gas that's going to have to go down to this double armory. Especially because we're not going into like any type of like heavy vulture builds so far. And we're on a mineral only base. But if you mine up most of the middle of the map, guess what? It's easy to take a quicker base that has a 4th base. Four Probes is stuck at 75. It's 10 minutes and 48 seconds. That's a really low amount of supply. And not only that, but just in general, this is about the time that you really want to be close to max out if you're stuck on 3 bases, or you want to have a 4th base on the way. So you can see how much damage those, the not perfect probe rebuilding, constant macro of building probes, plus the fact that Qikz was able to kill 11 probes. I think that was actually like almost a third of 4Probes' economy at the time. And if you're just really just kind of pumping out like nothing but probes all the time, you should typically have enough to kind of like fill that gap up pretty quickly. But I guess just because the macro here, you can see there's a lot of idle probe time with a lot of these tanks. That really has kind of cost 4Probes a lot of this game. And now walking into a siege tank line after all the zealots have been cleaned up. Ooh, Qikz is in a really great position now. Qikz could probably, no problem, gain a 4th base, get into a really just strong econ, and start pumping out like 10 fact. By the way, this is why I hate Aztec. Look, there's no room for 10 fact here. It's like, alright, there's 5 facts. Maybe put 5 facts here. I hate this map. Yeah, so overall, I think Qikz is pretty much has his game in the bag. Just deny that 4th base. Which, on Aztec, I always forget there's the main bases down here, always where people spin 4th bases. So yeah, Qikz, if Qikz gets like that 4th base and stops this 4th base, I think Qikz has pretty much just locked this game in the bag. We do have +1/+1 already on the way. We have the science facility already set up as well, so Qikz's macros are really good now. And God, look at how many tanks Qikz got already as well. So I think, yeah, Qikz could probably just push out as soon as either like 1-1 is done, or wait for the 2-2 timing. We do have the Stargate with the Templar Archives coming up behind this as well. So we're starting to get into Arbiter tech. Typically, if you're staying on 3 bases for this long and your 3rd base had a gas, we see the Arbiters coming out at about 14-15 minutes. I believe we're going to be missing that window here, considering the Stargate and Templar Archives is just starting to finish up here now. And Qikz, you dastardly man, look at this. This cute little siege tank into double vulture drop over here. These Dragoons are going to have to shoot uphill as well. It's just, really miserable. Now, I'm thinking about this right now. How cute would it be if you actually picked up, like, 2 Goliaths with this as well, so you actually denied observers coming over here by scanning them? That would be awesome. I'm going to do that from now on. Overall, Qikz is pretty much just locked 4Probes and Dream down. And 4Probes is really just the biggest problem here is the supply count. It's really, really, really low for Protoss to be at this timing. Now, there's 4 Zealots here, and I don't know if you know this, but 4 Zealots could probably just kill a whole Terran army by themselves. We do have 1-1s to finish up here. We have 2-2. It's just about halfway done as well, and I think Qikz is now just at the point where he can just walk across the map. I don't really see too much that scares me. 15 minutes, and Arbiter still hasn't even started yet. And Arbiters, by the way, take like 8 minutes to build. I don't know if you know that. But at this point, I don't really see how Qikz is going to lose this game. As long as, you know, this is the scary part. I don't really suggest ever pushing up this ramp with the 200 army. I think it's just much better to go up this way and then walk in while you have, like, the big ground down here. Also, don't let your vultures do this. Ah, StarCraft, what a great game. No bugs here. So yeah, 2-2 should actually finish up now, which means that, like, by the time that anything really happens... Okay, so Qikz doesn't decide to push up that ramp. Awesome. Might just be for a contain to, like, try and, like, funnel units if they do come down this way, that they'll take a lot of splash damage. Still a weird way to do that, but it's okay. A couple of spider mines over here, and now somehow 4Probes in a Dream has just rocketed up to 161 supply. I'm still failing to see... Okay, so by the way, this went back and actually took that out. Sorry, I missed that. Still failing to see how there's a possibility that 4Probes engage this army effectively, but it's Protoss, so, you know, we never know. Nope, wrong one. There we go. God. Really just need to, get the replay. UI to be the same. SD shield on the C-Tech. We'll keep that alive for a really long time. It looks like so many units are just funneling into this. But the Vultures are actually not engaging directly on the Zealots, and that's going to allow a lot of siege tanks to go down here, actually. But it's okay, because Qikz is still at 180 supply to 98. Now Qikz is double expanding as well. We do have this base and this base as the battle continues on. And there's the GG. Yeah, it was a really weird game. I think there's just some rhythm mess up there from 4Probes and a Dream. And just, it seemed like they were just off rhythm the whole entire game. Which can happen. It's really annoying. You know, you don't fall into the good rhythm of constantly building probes and constantly doing things. And instead you get into, like, get stuck into, like, a kind of like just a bad rhythm, and just, you fall out of supply, getting in, you know, your supply depots or pylons down perfectly and everything else. So we will be able to even this up 1-to-1. And we'll get on into game number 3. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I need to hide that. There we go. Spawn down up here, the top left-hand corner of Fighting Spirit. It is our blue Terran player, Qikz. Down here in the bottom left-hand corner, our teal Protoss player. It is 4Probes and a Dream. First game, though, really felt like Qikz was kind of off rhythm, off balance there. Second game definitely felt like 4Probes and a Dream was off balance there. But by the third game, like, I feel like nerves really start to kind of calm down. And things really kind of start to mellow out a bit. Because you've pretty much just kind of like, you've played through your awkward game, you've played through your good game, and now you're like, now you're in that middle. Now, as I say that, 4Probes and a Dream, going for a little bit of cheese. A little bit of cheese here today. Qikz go for the wall off immediately. So we do have that gateway now coming down here, but Qikz go for the wall off, and I think this actually might just be able to knock that cheese out of the corner. Now, the one thing that probes can do when they get into your base and they see that you're going for that wall off is just put down a pylon right here, because the pylon will just break your ability to wall off perfectly. That does force the Protoss to kind of commit more resources before the Zealot even comes down, which makes things even more awkward. And there it is. And this is it. Like, when you see this, you're like, okay, I know what's happening here. Qikz looks like he's going to go for an attack move on the pylon or something. Oh, there's a cancel. And the rebuild. Oh, that is cute. That is just cute. Zealot probably on the way soon. And it's at this point that I honestly just throw down a bunker. I just give up. I'm like, I'm not going to want to deal with the micro that's going to be required for me to not mess this up or to mess this up. Oh, no! Let it go down! Ooh, this is not good for 4Probes. Yeah, that tight wall is going to make it very difficult. But 4Probes is actually just kind of transitioning straight out of this anyway. So, while heavy proxy play, etc. Oh! That is dangerous. And also, if you're a Terran, just send an SCV to go attack the pylon, because then you have to keep one of the Zealots occupied. fun facts. And Qikz is actually going into double factory play. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just like one of those I'm busy microing so I don't I accidentally left 3 people in gas for way too long. But, I mean, 4Probes in a Dream does have to spend a lot of resources to kind of get this all going. But still, I think 4Probes didn't really move too much out of the way here because we still have that like Dragoon that's going to pop out a little bit later given that the Zealot did come out. So we still have a Dragoon before, you know, even tanks are done. And there's the double factory now coming down here. I think 4Probes is in a little bit of trouble if 4Probes doesn't kind of fix that situation. When you have to deal with double factory, you pretty much, as a Protoss, have to go into 3-gate Robo. Otherwise, you can just get completely overrun. We've seen this a number of times. The double gate, though, is interesting. Double shot, too. Huh. Alright, so double shop, double factory. 2 factory, 2 shop for me. And we have the Dragoons now starting to come out. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So I think at this point, 4Probes should have made note of the fact that there's no command center kind of being built in this area. Like if you poke this Zealot up, you'd be able to see there's no no command center. In which case is when you say, okay, I'm not going to make this Nexus, I'm going to pop down another gateway and a robo facility. Because if you don't, you're now going to be at the whim of the Terran's 2-fact build. And that's dangerous. However, this can still be saved by a lot of really, really good micro on the Protoss side and really bad micro on the Terran side. Really, at this point, you want to have about 6 or so Dragoons. Also, 4 Dragoons can one-shot a Marine. And, oh my god, all of the Marines just died. So that's 1 dead tank. And the HPM, the micro here from 4Probes is really good. I think for what? Whoa. What just happened there? All of the Dragoons are so low. All right, so typically, a couple interactions that happen here. First off, siege tanks have longer range, so you pretty much what you do here is you put a bunch of Marines in front, and then vultures, and then siege tanks, because the vultures actually take a lot of shots as well. They have like 80 health, and I think they take 75% damage, so they take a lot of shots from Dragoons. The tanks, though, take full damage, and it takes 2 salvos from 4 Dragoons to take them out, or 1 salvo from 8 Dragoons. Typically, when you push out with the FD push, you have about 6 or so Marines, a tank, and then you rally with vultures, and that allows you to pretty much just constantly keep putting down mines. And when you put down the mines, the Dragoons have to focus those, which they normally spend like 5 shots on. And that allows your tanks to kind of just wail away on the Dragoons slowly but surely. In this situation, though, the Marines were all kind of cleaned up very early because there were 4 Dragoons out at the perfect time. And when all the Marines were immediately eliminated, that just left nothing but the tanks to deal with Dragoons. 4 Dragoons versus 3 tanks is just... it's a tough battle, and I think typically the Dragoons should lose. But a little bit of missed micro there, and 4Probes is way back into this game. Oh, wow, and how did those mines not trigger? Now, a couple of vultures do get out here, and there's actually nothing protecting the base over here for 4Probes. And Qikz is going to go to the 6 o'clock base, thinking that this is where the typical third base goes, for Protoss in this match, and it didn't. Now, this is a scary situation. Because if you don't see a third base, you're like, okay, something weird's going on. Does get the vulture in, does get a really good scout out, by the way. Sees the Citadel of Dune going down and everything else. And does get the scout out of this base over here in the bottom right hand corner, but the pylon wall had just finished up. Ooh. Qikz is just like 10 seconds behind getting amazing work done. So a bunch of vultures now moving onto the map. Just gonna go put down a whole bunch of mines. Really could just kind of probably harass and take down this pylon in the middle or just unpower that gateway. It's probably not being used anyway. Let's just actually check. Yeah, it's being unused. There's no observer over here yet though, so could just lay down a bunch of... Oh, but that one Dragoon just costs a bunch of vultures. But here's the problem, is that, like, Qikz is, I mean, still at 49 supply. Wow. That's one way to keep walling in. And I feel like, yeah, so this is, like, the big problem here, is that we just have a lot of time where there's just no SCV building. I feel like Qikz should probably be at about 70 supply-ish by now, even though the double factory didn't really work out and did lose a lot of supply there. But again, we're just seeing a lot of just kind of like off-rhythm play here from both players. A lot of just idle town halls here. Oh, this command center. Did you start building SCVs? Alright, so the good thing about Terran is that Terran is, as we say, sagi, which is apparently the Korean word for power. And Terran is overpowered. What can be done here is that Qikz pretty much just plays this as slow as possible. Builds a wall here, powers up on 3 bases, and gets the 2-1. But given that Qikz is like kind of stopped a 4th base from happening, is still on 2 base to 3 base, things aren't bad, but this is a really dangerous situation here, very precarious. The command center is being built over here. The Dragoons are here, but they don't have anything protecting here. If there's an observer here... I don't know why the observer's over here. The observer typically should be watching the 3rd base. Oh, look at that. Just as soon as I said that. That Zealot survived. Are you kidding me? Yeah, the Zealots are broken. But right now, I mean, like, there's nothing stopping anything from getting anywhere. And that's a problem. You really want to have like a supply depot wall over here to stop Zealots from just kind of running in and just bulldogging your tanks. Now granted, Qikz is getting a lot of really great shots here, and it's going to probably be able to defend this. Oh my god. So Qikz is actually not too bad off right now. 70 to 79. Even though Protoss has had like 3 bases kind of set up here. Did I miss a vulture run by or something? I must have missed vultures. Yes, I missed vultures. There's way too many probes here. Yeah, okay. Oh! Oh, wow. So 2 kill vulture. The main is really, really low. This is a really weird game. So we do have the Arbiter Tribunal now. And we don't have a transfer yet. We do have idle CCs still. Really, this is a really low worker count game so far. But here comes the starport. Do we have a armory on the way? Okay, cool. We do have an armory. We do have +1 as well. Wow. Okay, nice. So we're sitting in a pretty good position. Considering I don't think Protoss has any upgrades. This one weapon's about to finish. But Protoss doing as Protosses do, build a bunch of zealots and hope that you break the tanks. And I think it can work, and it does actually work pretty well, especially in this situation. Typically we see Terrans wall up right here with a bunch of supply depots, and if not that, then they just like completely cover this area with mines. So if anything kind of happens, Protoss either has to walk through a minefield, like the Prodigy song, or you pretty much just deal with the wall, and the wall just kind of wins. But Zealots are really good units. Fun fact. And Siege Tanks are really not good at Zealots because Zealots, I think, are medium-sized units. And so these Zealots are going to get in. They're going to do a lot of damage. They're going to take a lot of these tanks that Qikz has been building up for a really long time. It's going to really set back a lot of the Terran's kind of ability to kind of sit back and do nothing. Because Terrans are able to do that because they like kind of wall up and they build nothing but Siege Tanks, and Siege Tanks are just great from a distance, right? But if you have nothing but Vultures, it's going to be really difficult because then the Protoss can just remax with Dragoons and you are in a really awful situation. Wow, all of these Zealots have taken equal damage. But overall, I mean, this is just a really awkward situation here for Qikz. He's just lost the third base, his whole entire defense force. I would like to see a lot more. Oh my god. Gateways coming down here for 4Probes. I mean, you're at 3 bases, just about to go to 4 bases, it looks like. Okay, there we go. There's that wall finally coming down here. Maybe. I'm not sure. Nope, it's not tight. Oh no! Oh, the SCV went for it. Man, this game, I tell you, this is interesting. So Protoss does have +1. We have +2 weapons on the way. We have +1 armor just finishing up here for Qikz, so we're going to be at 1-1. Science facility has finished up. We do have the starport now coming down. Oh, there's the +2 with weapons as well. Okay, cool. So we'll have 2-2. 2-2. Coming up in a pretty good timing. Or at least, sorry, 2-1. Nope, 2-2. Yeah. 2-2. Qikz now has the ability to get the third gas up as well. We have so many SCVs here at the natural, so we could just transfer a lot of those and actually be in a pretty good position economically. I mean, given that, like... Oh, I guess drop defense. I've never seen that before. Given that, like, the Arbiters are coming out at probably in 18, 19 minutes. I assume that because there's half the Arbiter build length still, and I think Arbiters take just about under 5 minutes to build. It's a joke, but they do take, I think, 90 seconds to build. I think everybody's kind of paired up for where we would normally be like 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. We're still only on 5 factories, so we're now finally moving up to 6. And we do have EMP starting to get researched over here by the science facility, so the EMP, the science vessels, all that should be in a good position for by the time that the Arbiter comes out. Looks like not too many forces defending over here. And this will allow Qikz to just kind of walk over here and pick up a couple of probes, kill a couple of zealots. Potentially get a whole bunch of Dragoon kills. Oh no, never mind. There is an observer right there, so we'll be able to see everything. And there's the first Arbiter. Hey, Arbiter! With full energy? Wait a minute, how did that Never mind. I thought that was the first Arbiter on the way. It's the second Arbiter. That Arbiter has full energy. That is spooky. And we don't have a lot of Arbiter defense. I guess right here is pretty good. The natural susceptible. The third base is totally open to Arbiters right now. So I would really like to see a whole bunch of mines go down there at the third base. Also, there's a traffic jam. But the fourth base is now up, and I think Probes in a Dream, sorry, fifth base is now up as well. 4Probes in a Dream does have the ability to just kind of split this map and start taking this into a little bit more standardized TVP. Just heard something attacking something, I don't know what it was. I'm still hearing something attack something. What am I hearing? What? Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, the Dragoon is stuck. And this is what I knew from 4Probes in a Dream when I played. Just went straight on into carrier tech in the corner of the map. And Qikz is starting to go for, it looks like a fourth base up here in the top right-hand corner. Which is good. You pretty much want to expand away from where the Protoss, you know, where we're going to be able to kind of keep focusing all of your forces. But this is also where the Protoss is starting to expand as well, so it's a little bit spooky. There's a whole bunch of zealots just coming over here to cancel that fourth base from going down. Qikz is at about 150 supply. Would like to see a lot more factories coming down here. Only one in gas over here. Oh, zealots. You impossible to kill units, you. So, a bunch of Dragoons now coming over to stop this fourth base yet again. There's a missile turret that will defend that mine. And neither from all these Dragoons. And yeah, so I think Qikz should be able to get the 200 and just be able to push out. Nice little vulture over down here in the bottom corner, just going to pick up a whole bunch of just free kills. There's nothing really over here to stop that, except there's an Arbiter with carriers. Now, Arbiter, carriers, great. No Goliaths. Uh-oh. This is one of the biggest pain points that I have in TVP as well, is that, like, you pretty much have to scout the entire... Oh my god, this vulture. Scout the entire map to figure out if they're going for carrier attack. And or just look at their cyber core. Oh, there's no +1 air weapons. Never mind. And now there's just two carriers in the middle of the field. EMP on the Arbiter, so we won't get any stasises here. But there is another Arbiter going in. It does get the recall on top of a bunch of mines that don't actually do any damage. There we go. So actually, that recall didn't do that much work. Only 2 units left after that, so... Really nice recall. Defense! No, the SCVs! And now we're up to 3 carriers over here, but there's 3 Goliaths. And I don't know who wins that fight, but it looks like not carriers. So 4Probes in a Dream has stopped the fourth base from Qikz from going down here in the top right-hand corner, and has instead decided to take it themselves. Boop. Oh, didn't die. Arbiter's still flying around the map, causing a whole bunch of havoc. We are up to 4 carriers. Should be probably 5 and 6 coming out in the next coming moments. Fun fact, it takes more time to build all the interceptors of a carrier than it does to actually build the carrier itself. We have stopped upgrading here, though, so you really want to get 3-3 when you're going up against carriers, because carriers are kind of really scary. But here comes the carrier versus Terran mech fight. The supplies are actually going really quickly in favor of the Terran, actually, 160 to 140. And Qikz has got some pretty good upgrades, so I think that's, you know, pretty much just going to allow Qikz to just walk down here into the bottom right-hand corner. There's not that much defending it here. And not only that, but this is really actually kind of difficult in the middle of the map to use carriers here, because you only have like this little area to kind of dance back and forth around. The carriers now starting to get some pretty good kills as the reinforcements are starting to try to come across the map here. And finally, the proxy gateway from the middle of the map is finally going to go down. Rest in pieces. But 4Probes is still on 5 bases. And so I think once you get carriers out on the map like this, and I think this is what that probe is about to go do, is go take these this base over here at the 9 o'clock position. That's just because like the carriers just kind of keep the Terran locked down in a really weird way that doesn't allow them to really get that much map control. Especially because, like, right here, it's just great for the carriers to constantly bounce back and forth between. But Qikz is starting to push now into the main base here. We have 5 carriers. We get to like something like 6 or 8. This starts to become a little bit much for Terran to easily deal with. Oh, never mind. Oh wow, there we go. There's the 8. And that's like the prime number of carriers you want to have. And not only that, but you just want to pad your whole entire army with nothing but zealots as well. Well, not nothing but zealots, but a lot of zealots, because Goliaths really suck against zealots. And typically you also see Protoss start pumping out a lot of High Templar as well. And that's just because Goliaths clump up really nicely for those storms. So Protoss is typically at this point would like to have a bunch of carriers and a bunch of storms ready to just kind of force those Goliaths into awkward situations. Oh my god, there's so many carriers. Is that 12 carriers? Almost? It's 11 carriers. Do we have upgrades? No upgrades on them though. Someone didn't watch Nyokin's videos. Fun fact, you want both damage and armor. But Goliaths, they just want nothing but damage. I mean, look at the 3-2 Goliaths. 32 damage per shot. Now, if we get some EMPs on top of those carriers, we're going to be in a really good situation. However, at this point, I think that's a couple of EMPs. Some D-shields and some EMPs would be really just perfect here. But unfortunately, I think those were D-shields that went down. And the carriers are just going to walk over everything. And as a Terran, I have no idea how to deal with this, because I tried dealing with the same exact army from the same exact person. And I was just like, I don't know what to do, and I just pretty much just floundered the rest of the game. I think at that point you just make nothing but Valkyries, right? But now it's starting to look like BGH. 12-minute no rush, BGH. Oh, and the 2 science vessels getting sniped. At this point, I'm pretty sure this game is all but unwinnable here. I mean, Qikz only has 1 mining base. Actually, the natural is pretty good still. But yeah, I mean, at this point, there's really like, there's just too many carriers. And I mean, 4Probes in a Dream does have the rest of the map as well, so this is a really tough spot here. More than 9 Qikz. There's like 12 carriers here. Here they come, the carriers. And at this point, it's like, it's just so difficult to even target down one of the carriers, or even take out all the interceptors. And I think we're just going to watch the Goliath army slowly dwindle here. Oh, okay, one carrier does go down. There's 2. There's actually some pretty good damage there from the Goliaths. Maybe at that point you do just completely avoid trying to take down the interceptors. There's always like that weird back and forth there. But it looks like there's going to be a bunch of siege tanks trying to push up here, but there's a lot of photon cannons here. You really have to just kind of siege up and then slowly take this. Because, fun fact, photon cannons just do infinite damage. But actually, 4Probes in a Dream is also starting to mine out. But Qikz is really, really hitting the end of the mineral patches here. So yeah, I mean, at this point, it's really just 4Probes in a Dream. Just has to walk around and pretty much just drown Qikz in interceptors. And because 4Probes still has like an infinite number of bases to take, pretty much, it's gonna be really difficult for Qikz to kind of handle this. But Qikz has kept this command center alive so far, and pushing down to the bottom right-hand corner. So this might be able to get Qikz somewhat back into the game. The problem is, like, right now, like, any amount of units that get lost are pretty much gone. And there's still 11 carriers here. So I think, you know, it's just, it's that awkward situation where you try and get one base, but there's just, I don't see a base that Qikz can easily get. You can't even take this base over here. The 9 o'clock base is already taken. Yeah, I think pretty much this is, this is the end of the game. But then again, I mean, 4Probes only still has 2 mining bases, I guess, at this point. There's a bunch of probes. Are the probes going to main her? No. They're just going somewhere else. I'm actually picking up all these. So this other base over here, it's just this lone siege tank just wailing away on everything. And I mean, like, Qikz is getting some really good work done right now, but the problem is like, it's just, dare I say, a little bit too late. And now with the Zealots coming in from behind, the Goliaths are going to start, like, bugging out whether or not to attack the Zealots or not. I think Qikz might be able to win this fight, though. Yeah, there's just too many units. I mean, there's still 7 carriers here. Yeah, there's the GG. It looks like 4Probes and a Dream will be able to take the series. Ladies and gentlemen, 2-1 over here to 4Probes.